The August 30th, 2010 meeting of the Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Antelli? Here. Mr. Beebe? Here. Mrs. Draw? Here. Mr. Eckel is excused. Chairman Hanna?
Here.
Mr. Lee is excused. Mr. Lightfoot is excused. Mr. McCann? Here. Mr. Yolovich? Here.
Is there anyone signed up for public forum this evening?
There's one public forum speaker, Mr. Thomas Gregory. You have a handout? Oh, sure. Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I beg your indulgence if I take maybe 30 seconds more than I usually take. Speaking on an issue of the public defender, it's not on your agenda today, but I know that the Bar Association recently has been soliciting views throughout the county, and I had the privilege of actually attending one of their sessions. I want to distinguish the term privilege from a right, because as long as the selection of the public defender remains in the hands of this legislative body, I have a right to participate. Not a privilege, a right. And in the context of a law that was passed some 46 years ago, I think it was Article 9 of the Constitution, which was the municipal home rule law, which somewhere in that municipal home rule law, a constitutional, not a local initiative, but constitutional, the people of the state of New York through their constitution said, we want to have local government in our hands. We want to have the power of local government in these hands where like a person like myself can come up here, maybe ad nauseum at times, but address my legislators. That's the amount of work that I put into so far, a letter drafted to Judge Feldman, federal judge, in response to his points of view. I take this serious. Government is important. I'm not the only person in this county who thinks that government is important. And therefore, I hope that this county legislature never relinquishes its power to appoint the public defender in this county, because it's a right for us to participate. The Constitution says so, and I think just basic common sense says so too. This office of public defender that people would like to go off, and amongst privileged groups, certain groups that they say they have a vested interest, ignoring that a vested interest exists in every citizen in this county. It's called political involvement. And anyways, my point, I guess I can close up on that. Constitutionally, the power to appoint, I would argue, lies in this legislative body, and I call upon the Bar Association and all those other individuals with vested interests in this county who would like to particularize this election, and ask them to stand down and leave the business of this legislative body. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Is there anyone present who has not signed up who would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing none. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have before you the July 26, 2010 minutes. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item, new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 249, acceptance of a grant.
Moved by Legislator Draw, seconded by Legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Legislator Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple questions in regards to this grant. Through you to the administration, what are the specialized equipment purchases this grant will pursue?
Through the chair, my name is Steve Bowman, and I think this may be the first time that Fire Coordinator Sam DeRosa is here, but he heads up as the Fire Coordinator of the Special Operations Group, and I've asked him to, he can answer that, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Beebe, repeat your question for me.
In regards to this grant, for operations and technical search and rescue, what types of specialized equipment will you be able to purchase through this grant?
In the first round, or what we'll go after for the calendar year 2011, is mostly equipment, heavy equipment for structural collapse.
All right. And the other question I have to the administration, is this a one-time grant? This is the first year we're getting it. Do we anticipate hopefully opportunities to get another grant in the future?
Through the chair, the state is operating on a year-to-year basis for the grant. If it follows suit with some of the other grants that have come at us from state, hopefully it'll continue.
All right, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries.
Referral 10-250, acceptance of a grant.
Moved by Legislator McCann, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Is there any discussion? Legislator Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, what have been the successes so far of this Operation Impact?
Through the chair, probably the most notable accomplishment of this grant since over the past couple of years is a decrease in the number of homicide, gun cases, and drug cases that have been referred to the DA's Office for Prosecution. Those have declined since 2007-2008 grant year about 15%. We have continued to have a problem, though, with other violent crime, and that's the strategy that we're approaching in the next year. And I have the strategy assessment for last year's grant is available, and I'll be passing that out at the end of this.
All right, thank you very much. Through the chair to the administration, could you please name all the partners involved with the Operation Impact?
Through the chair, the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the Office of Probation and Community Corrections, the Rochester Police Department, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. The unfunded partners of the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Explosives, New York State Probation, New York State Police, and the Federal Parole and Probation.
All right, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries. Next item.
Referral 10-251, authorize.
Moved by Legislator Yolovich, seconded by Legislator Antelli. Is there any discussion? Legislator Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one question. We're doing this through Onondaga County. Is there any chance in the future that we would be doing this program on our own? Is it a feasibility problem, or what might generate this to be done here?
Yes, through the chair, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office did undertake to determine whether or not it would be cost prohibitive for Monroe County to adopt the program, and we found that just simply installing the system independent of the annual maintenance would be $8,200 a year, with annual support of anywhere between $700 and $900. And based upon the fact that the jurisdictions that currently use Onondaga show no reason to move, it was felt that it would be cost prohibitive for us to attempt to bring this on ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I do have a few questions on this. This database, would Monroe County's information be added to the database in Onondaga County? Is that the way this is going to work?
Through the chair, Monroe County's data is transmitted to Albany through Onondaga. It's the actual server. I'm sorry. The issue is the connection to New York City and management of that. The connection is handled through a server, and the server and the software to manage that are in Onondaga County. That's what Monroe County is lacking. So it's a transmittal as opposed to a storage.
Okay, all right, I see. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 10-259, acceptance.
Moved by legislator Antelli, seconded by legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Legislator Draw.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration, what are the other municipalities besides the Grease Fire Department, the City of Rochester? You list qualifying fire departments within Monroe County. I was just curious to which ones they were.
Mr. Chairman, I believe, are we on referral 259?
I think you're ahead of yourself there, legislator. We're on 259 right now, which is the grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice for reentry coordination. Legislator Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of questions through you to the administration. How many clients does the CFC serve through this grant?
Through the chair, Bob Burns, Monroe County Probation Administrator. It varies each year. We have no control over the number of releasees from New York State prison systems, but in 2009, 260 inmates were released from state prisons and were served by the program.
Okay. And a follow-up to that, how are these individuals chosen to participate? Is there a criteria that's set?
Through the chair, a majority of the participants are under New York State parole supervision, and they're referred through the New York State Division of Parole. Others are max outs, people who have completed their state prison term, but they are seeking assistance locally to get back on their feet. But in any event, all of them have to be assessed at being at high risk of reoffending, and that risk is completed through a risk assessment form done by the state.
All right, thank you very much.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Okay. Referral 10-260, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Rochester.
Moved by legislator Draw, seconded by legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before the committee tonight? Legislator Beebe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that Mr. Bowman is here at the meeting, and in a timely fashion he did. I sent some questions ahead of time. We were unable to hook up to talk on 101 in regards to the LDC, and I do have a couple of follow-up questions, if I may, in regards to the questions that were answered.
I'd ask that you. That's fine. If you'd like to, if you have a few questions, he can record the questions and get back to you. This is an issue where I think that it helps everybody involved to have the answers in writing and what have you.
Absolutely, sir.
You may submit it in writing, or you can ask them now, and he'll record them and get back to you in writing, if that's okay with you, Mr. Bowman.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. In regards to a question, please provide copies of the completed test plan for each security and/or service. There's supposed to be, by the Director of Public Safety, a certificate of completion for each appropriate project component. I just want to be assured that that would be filed in a timely fashion with the clerk of the legislature. Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, we will be happy to provide that information as it becomes available upon request from individual legislators, whatever form is convenient.
All right, thank you very much. One other point, the time frame for the annual review process that's supposed to occur between the county officials involved with the LDC here. I'd like to be able to nail down an exact time of when this may happen.
Mr. Chairman, we'll be happy to provide you with the timeline. I don't have that information at my fingertips. But
Yeah, when it's available, that'd be great. Thank you. That's all I have. Once again, I appreciate Mr. Bowman being here. And I guess one other comment I would make in regards to the situation that occurred last week at the airport. I, for one, would like to put on the record that I'm very grateful to our organizations and departments that responded in a timely fashion and prevented what could have been a worse disaster.
Thank you. Are there any other matters come before the committee? No, there being no further business, the August 30th, 2010 meeting of the Public Safety Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting will be held on September 27th, 2010 at 5 p.m.